got to mind your business, right? You've got to think about what's going to positively affect your business in the long term and not just today and be reactionary.
If you let the panic and fear overwhelm you, then you're going to lose a lot of money in the process.
Hello and welcome to Pillars of Wealth Creation, where we talk about creating financial success with a special focus on business and real estate. I'm your host, Todd Dexheimer. Now, let's get to it. Hello and welcome back to Pillars of Wealth Creation. I'm your host, Todd Dexheimer. With me, as always, is Matt Jones. Matt, how are we doing today?
I'm doing great. I'm enjoying my social distancing and getting some work done at home.
Yeah. Just don't cough, all right? I don't want to get your cold.
Sure. How are you doing?
Doing well. Same thing. It's been different. Like it's definitely different. And people like that are going to listen to this like a year or 2 years down the road, it's going to be an interesting to hear some of these conversations we've been having about this. So it'll bring back some memories. But yeah, it's just been, it's definitely different. You know, I'm not having the one-on-one meetings with people that I traditionally have at least one, maybe 2 or 3, 4 a week. So that's been different. I feel like I've just been having less meetings, period. And something I've actually been thinking about is, man, maybe I should start reaching out to some people that I haven't spoken with in a while and set up a Zoom call with them or set up just a phone call with them. So just reassessing, what I need to do in my business. And it's been kind of good, to be honest with you, because it's allowed me to look at my business and decide, okay, what do I need to focus on right now during this time to be able to push myself ahead to where when things do get back to 100% back to speed or even 70% back to speed, I'm ready to rock and roll. And I've actually became better out of this than when we entered into it. So that's something I'm really looking at is how do I become a better business owner out of this situation than I was prior to the situation.
Sure.
Which kind of leads us into today's topic, right? What's today's topic?
Assessing your portfolio and what your plan is to do with it.
Yep. Yeah. So this, this little scare here, or big scare, whatever you want to call it, but this, I should call it more than a scare. I mean, it's pretty serious, right? But the coronavirus pandemic has allowed me to think a little bit about my portfolio as well. And quite frankly, I try to reassess and look at my portfolio every year or so, or less even sometimes. I look at a number of things. I look at what my rental rates are versus what the market rental rates are. Are we keeping up with the market? And a lot of times the answer is no. Like, we haven't kept up with the market. I've got some properties that I'm still quite a bit below the market. I also look at, has the market shifted in any of the areas I've got properties in to where I could do a major remodel or minor remodel and then even further improve my rents? Like, is that something that is necessary? And I have done that, actually just recently, just now, even during this pandemic, I took a property and I've improved it more than what it was prior to. We did quite a few extra things to it to make it a nicer property to be able to demand higher rent because of the area that it's in. And we're able to get about $175 rent bump just by putting about $3,000 into the $3,500, I think we put in into the unit. So we were able to do that. And I've done that several times with different properties. Just reassess it, just look at it and go, okay, what type of things should I do to this property and how can that help push my rent a little bit farther? And I've been able to do that with several properties. And it's not right for every property, but I've been able to do that to several properties and boost my rents by several $100s on a few of them. Even one of them we boosted by about $450 just by putting in about $5,000 worth of work. So ROI is good on that.
Real good.
Yeah. So we can dig into that a little bit, and some of the other stuff I've assessed and looked at, and some changes I've made, some I haven't. But I've looked at doing Airbnb with some of my properties. I haven't taken that leap yet, But I've looked at doing Airbnb. Obviously, right now and today, I'm happy I didn't. But at the same time, if you go, I could have done it 3 years ago, and maybe even through this, it would be just fine because I've made so much more money to cover, and I've got 6 months worth of fluff that it doesn't matter. So that's a potential thing that you want to look at. Is this property good for Airbnb or corporate rental? Are there programs that would benefit this property? So we put one of our properties, we did a master, kind of like a master lease. We did a sandwich lease or whatever you want to call it with the company who was running a senior citizen house out of our property. They were a company that did that. We did a little upcharge on our rent, and they of course made money on top of that. We did that for a short period of time. It didn't work out with that company, but it's something I would consider again. Would want just a little bit more established company than what these people were. The other thing I've got right now is I've got a relationship with the NHL where we rent out one of our houses directly to the NHL, and they bring in people that they're training, and they live at our house. So it's a corporate rental, and we just have one lease, and they pay that. The individuals don't pay. That's worked out really well. We're on to our 4th year doing that, and we've got another a year full already of a lease extension. So just making some decisions on, is this the right move for my property? Should I move this tenant base in? Should I change? Should we do a remodel? Those are the types of things that I think are important to be looking at on an annual basis. And now's the best time, right? I mean, it's a great time to be looking at what are our properties doing right now, and how are they cash flowing, and then deciding, okay, where should I go with this property? And I'm doing that right now with all of my properties, and actually deciding, should I sell a couple of properties? And I've decided just to take a couple properties, not very many, off the table. I've mainly sold my kind of poor performers, but I've got a couple that I've decided maybe to sell here and take a couple chips off the table, not a lot. So that was a lot to digest.
Yeah. So what is your decision-making process when deciding what to do with a particular property?
Well, it kind of comes, there's a lot of factors, right, that I talked about. So, with selling, I just look at what my cash flow is on that property and what my actual profit would be if I sold it. And, how long is it going to take me to make that money? If this thing's only cash flowing $300 a month and I've got $150K worth of equity in there, it's like, okay, well, how long is that going to take me to catch up to that 150 of equity? And what could I do with that equity? Is it just going to sit around and do nothing and I'm not going to need it? Or is it going to be used for a potential opportunity? So I just got to look at, the pros and cons to both of those. So I'm kind of making a pros and cons list really for everything. Same thing like these properties. If I'm looking at, do I do a remodel, right? We've got good cash reserves on all our properties, so that's convenient, right? So this property, we had a good cash reserve. I looked at it and said, does it make sense to do a remodel? It's going to cost me $3,500. It's going to raise rent by $175 a month. What's my return on investment on that? And return on investment is really good. It makes sense to do. Right? If I go, well, it's not going to make sense. If it was a $60 return or $50 return, well, that might not make sense to do, right? But when I'm getting 20-25% return on investment, well, that makes sense. So a lot of it's just pros and cons. It's numbers, looking at, and then the last thing is just, well, where's my vision? Like, what do I want to do? And some of that is I'm looking at my own small 1 to 4 family portfolio and going, okay, where's my vision? Like, where do I want to take this thing? Like, I've got some properties here that in not very distant future could be paid off. Like, that's a great feeling, but do I really want those properties in my portfolio? Like, I could pay them off. Great. But is that the property I actually want in my portfolio paid off? Or would I rather sell that, buy another property, and pay that property off? And me personally, I like the idea of having some properties with very low leverage, especially in like a time like this where there's a lot of uncertainty. It's really nice knowing that I've got a lot of properties right now that are 20 to 40% loan to value. So that's kind of nice to have that kind of debt set up right now.
Yeah, that gives you wiggle room if there's indeed a recession happening.
Yeah, when your mortgage payment is $300 a month, $300 to $400 a month, asking for a forbearance really doesn't do a lot, right? When your mortgage payment is going to cripple you, then yeah, I mean we can get a forbearance right now, luckily, without affecting our credit. But in a normal, even market cycle, you can't get a forbearance without affecting your credit. Forbearance means that the bank is just allowing you not to make payments today. You're going to make them in the future still, but you're just not making them today. You're basically pushing those off.
Yeah, either adding them to the end or doing like a payment plan to catch up.
Yep, you got it. Hey, I want to interrupt real quick and just say, if you're looking for some help, if you are interested in multifamily investing and you want to dig deeper, now's a great time to connect with me and talk about what that would look like, how I can help you get to the next level. And I know there's a lot going on right now, so it's kind of confusing. Should I jump in? What should I do? Well, I can tell you this from experience. Now is the time to learn. And now is the time to really understand how to take that next step, because there will be opportunity. Opportunity probably isn't going to happen for a little bit here, but the opportunity is going to be coming, or potentially coming, depending, of course, on how things shake out. Now is the time to be learning. So when that does come in 6 months, in 12 months, when that comes, you are ready to take action. You're ready to take the next steps, and you're ready to actually take advantage of what could come down the pipeline. So now is a great time. I'd love to help you. I'd love to help you get there if you're looking for that next step. So reach out. You go to coachwithdex.com, coachwithdex.com, and just do a discovery call to see if it's a right fit for you. The other couple things I want to mention, we got the North Star Real Estate Conference. That's been put on hold, but it's still coming. We're going to be doing it in the fall now of 2020, and we'd love to have you there. Love to have you. Love to be able to shake your hand or give you an elbow bump, whatever is the in thing at that time. And I think it's going to be a fantastic information. We've got a bunch of great speakers that are still planning on coming. So I'd love to have you at the North Star Real Estate Conference in Minneapolis. You can go onto nreconference.com and click and get your tickets with the promo code EARLYBIRD. The last thing, again, I just want to say I really appreciate you listening to this show, and I hope you're getting a lot from it. I would love to hear from you on what you want out of this show. If there's anything that we're doing that we could do better, if there's any way we can serve you in a better way, I'd really love to know that, to be able to take some time and help cater this show better to my audience. So you can definitely give us a note, Pillars of Wealth Creation. You can give us a note. You can write us on Facebook. We've got our Pillars of Wealth Facebook page. You can connect with me personally on Facebook. Just Todd Dexheimer. So you can, I don't think there's too many of me. So you can connect with me and just let us know what we can do to help better serve you. If you've got guest suggestions, if you've got questions that you'd like us to ask, our Hump Day Hustle. So love to really make sure this show is about you and not just about us, of course. I really appreciate you listening and being a loyal listener and subscribing and helping us build our audience. Let's get back to the show.
Yeah, one of my properties I'm actually selling right now, but that's because I've executed my business plan. The renovations are done, and I got to offer the price that I wanted originally anyway. So that's then plus I get to pull the capital out to reinvest it into future deals that I'm looking at.
Well, and there's the other thing. What's your business plan and vision? And are you still wanting to execute that business plan and vision? I mean, you could keep that property, but if you've already executed your vision and business plan, you've maximized the value, now might be the time to sell, right? If that was your plan and you've got a plan moving forward to continue to push, then that might be the right move to make.
Yeah. So, I see a lot of people right now with Airbnb and VRBO switching their business plan to be from the short-term rental to more long-term rental. And I don't have any Airbnb myself, but if I did, I'd be looking at maybe renting those out to nurses or to corporations as furnished rentals, so I don't have to move the furniture out.
Yep. Yeah, I 100% agree. Yeah, I mean that would be the most natural move, right? They're already fully furnished. You could also do just a regular long-term rental with fully furnished, but most people that are moving from apartment to apartment already have furniture, and so that might not be, or that's probably not nearly as attractive. The other option, of course, is to put it in storage or to sell it. But here's the thing: we are dealing with this coronavirus pandemic, and we don't want to make knee-jerk reactions. Right. So if you're an Airbnb operator and you were making a lot of money with Airbnb and doing really well and really enjoyed it, and that was your business model, be careful about shifting too quickly just for a knee-jerk reaction. Now, if it's survival, it's survival, right? We have to survive. But if it's just based on what's going on today and you can survive this pandemic, things are going to get back to normal sooner than later. They really are. And so instead of doing this short term, if you can do the long-term corporate rental, if you can put your stuff in storage for a short period of time and do a 4-month rental or a 6-month rental or something like that, I would suggest doing that versus selling everything, selling your Airbnb or putting in a long-term rental just because you're freaked out about what's going on today. Now, again, financials have to play a factor into this, but let's not make knee-jerk reactions to sell all our portfolio because we're freaked out. Okay. It's easy to do. It's easy to think. Like I have thought about like, holy cow, like this could get really bad. Maybe I should sell everything. And it's like, well, wait a second now. Like that doesn't make any sense to do. Like that's just a knee-jerk reaction. And so really you've got to mind your business, right? You've got to think about what's going to positively affect your business in the long term and not just today and be reactionary.
If you let the panic and fear overwhelm you, then you're going to lose a lot of money in the process.
Yep. One thing through this that I have been putting some thought into is leverage. And there's a lot of people I think that really like a lot of leverage. They think real estate's great because we can have this high leverage asset. And we can leverage it at 80% and 75, 80%. And I've never been that gung-ho on that high of leverage personally, unless it truly makes a lot of sense. Like if this thing cash flows really well and we do 75%, okay. But I've been more of focused on my cash flow. So, like when I say my portfolio is between 20 to 40%, maybe as high as 50%. Loan to value. I mean, that's the truth. But one thing I've looked at more and more is the leverage can be a very dangerous tool, right? It's a great tool because it can allow us to accelerate our investments, but it's also a dangerous tool if we're using it in spite of cash flow, right? If we're using it in a way that's going to decrease our cash flow and not allow us to actually profit the way we should profit on a rental. So it's giving us a higher risk factor. That's something I really have been thinking about lately, and glad for one, I didn't do that with my small portfolio. And as I continue to grow, something I just want to be very cognizant about as I move forward with these newer assets is I want to be careful with my leverage and how I'm doing that, and make sure we're not over leveraging just for the fact that we can.
Yeah, makes sense. Especially at times like this,
Yeah. And again, we don't want to have fear take over our business and take over our mind, but we also want to use this as a learning experience as well, and looking at, okay, how do I want to look through recessionary times? And this might be an extraordinary example, but we do have recessions. And so how do I want my business to look through those times? Having some properties with very low leverage, or most of your properties with very low leverage, in my opinion, is a really sound business strategy. It's going to allow you to get through some pretty difficult times. Um, so that's my opinion, and what people can take that for what it is. You can continue to leverage as high as you want. Definitely, it's not going to hurt my feelings, but my opinion is we should watch our leverage.
Yep. Good.
All right. Anything else, Matt?
Nope, not today.
Perfect. Well, Matt, I want to make this announcement too. I think most people that have been interested in our conference already know this, but we did put our conference on. We postponed it. It's going to be in late summer, early fall. We haven't got a date locked down. Hopefully, we'll have that soon. But our conference, the North Star Real Estate Conference, is postponed. We were going to have it April 24th and 25th. However, with everything that's going on, it made too much sense to postpone it. I mean, it just wasn't worth moving forward with that date. So we did postpone. So those of you who are still interested, we're still selling tickets. We're keeping the promo codes open, so you can use the promo code early bird still, and you can get that discount. And nreconference.com is still where you can get your tickets. So just wanted to let everybody know that.
Yep. And if you ask any questions through the comments on the website, those go straight to me. So I'll be happy to answer.
Perfect. All right, Matt. Well, you have a fantastic rest of the day. Make every day Saturday. Hey, thanks so much for listening. I appreciate you being a loyal listener. I would love to have you go on to our Facebook page and subscribe. Give us a thumbs up. Go on to iTunes or wherever you listen and give us a rating and review. Don't forget to subscribe. Your rating and review just helps us push this out to more and more people and continue to grow our audience, and hopefully positively affect a ton of people out there that really need this and want this. So the other thing I've got for you is a free ebook on my website. So go on to venturedproperties.com, and download our free ebook on real estate and on syndication. And I've got some data points in there, some really good stuff for you. So I'd love to have you take a look at that. It's free. I'm not expecting anything from it. And also, look, if you want some help in multifamily, want some help learning, growing, getting your business off the ground, I would love to talk to you about what it would look like to work with me potentially and see if that's a good fit. So you can go to coachwithdex.com and check that out, and we can definitely have a call. Thanks a lot for listening. You make it a fantastic rest of the day. I'll catch you on the next episode.